Libertarian is.
I hear that all the time. Let me tell you what libertarian is. Libertarian is someone who says you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force others to be like you.
Got it.
That's what we are all about. We are all about long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. We're all about changing culture, not just changing law. Law, we have to remember something. At the end of almost every single law is a guy or a gal with a gun who will put you in a cage. And if you don't want to go in that cage, he or she is going to kill you. That means you only use law when it really matters, not just because I'm angry, not because I don't like you, not because you should do some activity I think you shouldn't do, or whatever the case may be. It's only for important things like life and liberty and property and things like that. That's when you use violence. That's when you use force. That's what libertarians are all about. Welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. Yes, I am drinking coffee and the brand is still strong. Absolutely. Guys, there are literally hundreds of libertarians running across this country, locally, trying to make impact in their own towns, in their own cities, in their own counties, in their own states, trying to make things happen. If you want to support those people, and do me a favor, like, comment, share. It's free, and you can do it right now. Click one of those buttons, one of them likes. If you don't like me, click the don't like. Click the sad. I don't care. Click a button. It matters. The algorithm start kicking in. Put a comment down. How about how handsome I am or how ugly I am? I don't care. Put a comment down. It's all good. We want to make sure that our media grows, that we can get past the blackout, past the blockade, and that people can see who we are and what we're doing. So please like, comment, and share. Today, I am very lucky. The person I have with me, firefighter, veteran, guy running for mayor, family man, hustler, love it. It might have been an insult last one, but I think it's not as an insult. The man himself, Chris. Did I get it right? Klavetter.
Close.
What is it?
Klavetter.
Klavetter, almost. Yeah. That was not bad. Klavetter. There we go.
I've been going by Chris K my whole life just to make things easy for people.
Chris K it is. I love it. Chris K, I'm so glad that you are here today. Thank you for coming. And for those of you who want more information on Chris K, head on over to cktoday.org, because today is where we have him. Chris, tell me something. You have been giving back to your community for years, literally. For years, you've been giving back to your community. You've been serving your community in some form for years. Why in the world you decide now, and why run for mayor?
Before we get too far from this, I do want to note that I took Hustler as a compliment.
Oh, good.
I'm a fan of Jay-Z, so.
There we go. Very good. Okay.
I understand. Why mayor? Why now?
Yeah, why mayor and why not? I mean, there's many ways you can give back. You've been giving back. Why did you choose mayor, and why this year?
Well, originally it started with, I was just excited to see a libertarian city councilwoman get elected.
Oh, yes. Right.
Par Schultz.
Yep.
I've been following the Libertarian Party for some time around then, and I said, oh, nice to see a libertarian take elected office here locally. Cool. Glad I could be a part of that. Then I saw another libertarian candidate get elected with Vince Workman.
Okay.
I said, wow, that's cool. We got two libertarians.
Look at that.
I told Ms. Schultz, I said, maybe I'll be next. LOL, wink. And she said, yeah, if you'd like to get started, let's talk and let's get you started on the process.
Yeah, that was a mistake telling her that. That was a mistake.
I didn't realize who she was at the time.
Yep, absolutely.
And so I said, well, okay. I rarely say no to opportunity. I'm an MMA referee simply because during jiu-jitsu, a guy said, hey, do you want to go work for the state in the MMA combat sports commission? I said, be a commissioner, watch inspector. Yeah, why not? Jiu-jitsu, got invited to the gym, went and tried it out. It's just one thing after next. You just keep saying yes and keep trying it. When I would join the Army, I became a paratrooper because I watched the Discovery Channel and they had a cool documentary about them. So I asked.
And you went 82nd Airborne, man. That's hardcore.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, so when Ms. Schultz told me to get on a commission here locally, I tried out and I put my name in the hat for planning commission originally, but they said I'd be better fit for the economic development commission.
Okay.
So I got in there. It's fun. I went to a meeting. I said, okay, guys, so what do we do? They said,
so you actually went and got some experience at the local level, seeing what was happening.
Yeah. And yeah. So then while I was sitting there watching in these, on this commission, hearing some of the plans, seeing some of the reviews, and seeing some of the things that were coming down the pipeline, I started getting a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
What was being planned in our city. One thing right off the bat that was proposed was early on, there was a proposal for a massage hair and nail studio license.
Okay.
And I said, well, they already have a license that they have to file for from the state.
Yep. Oh, and they were like, yeah, but our license could get us even more money.
Well, that wasn't what they said.
Okay.
So they're never going to come out and be that upfront about things.
Right.
So I said, what is this license for? Mm-hmm. I understand small business of this nature. My mom's a first-generation immigrant who started her own restaurant and did really well, started a few restaurants after that. But I saw growing up the struggles of being a non-English speaking immigrant and coming over here and trying to be an entrepreneur. So I said, well, this is a community I definitely
hard
understand.
even when you do speak English.
It is.
But it's harder when you don't. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so I said, I want to hear a good justification for why we need to be charging another couple $100, because I was that kid on the receiving end of those Christmases, and sometimes they were lean and sometimes they were rich.
Right.
And when businesses were starting out, they were some lean Christmases.
Absolutely.
A couple $100 means a lot, makes a lot of difference in those lives.
Oh, yes.
So what is your justification? And one of the commissioners said, it is to help combat human trafficking, to pay for the investigations, to help with a human trafficking problem that may be going on. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, no. I love how he changed the money grab into I'm being morally correct. He literally made a shift, and then there's no evidence that this actually is a problem anyway, I'm sure.
So then I say, so you're going to charge everyone in this industry an extra fee based off some old stereotypes?
Yep.
From the 70s or 80s, some real nasty stereotypes on a culture I belong to. And I was like, I can't help but feel a little personally offended by this. And
absolutely.
And this just feels like institutionalized racism in the form of ordinances and permits. And, at the time, and I can understand if people said, wow, you made a really big deal out of a little permit ordinance. But I just feel it's those little things, those day-to-day ticks that you feel it. And
it's the frog in the pot, right? You turn the pot up slowly, and before you know it, we're all boiled. You're right. If you don't stand up here, the next person doesn't stand up when it's them. I love it.
And it gets harder and harder to get these permits removed.
Yes.
So then the justification was we actually polled the massage studios, the hair and nail salons, and they overwhelmingly support this license.
Of course.
So I said, what business supports having to pay another fee and license to the city? So I went to each massage studio in Burnsville with a pen and paper and Google Translate. And I said, have you heard of this permit that's being proposed? Are you in favor of a new license? Are you in favor of a city level permit to operate, to help combat human trafficking? And a lot of people, I'm going to say, were not really excited to talk to somebody from the government.
I'm not surprised.
So they would say, no comment, no answer, call my boss and to a number that doesn't exist. I'm like, I get it. So I put down neutral, no answer. Because they wouldn't give the city, whoever called from the city before, supposedly when they looked into it, the same response. A lot of them also said no. I did get in touch with the owners, the bosses, said, no, we don't want more costs. This is what? To no surprise, one business that stood out from the rest was doing very, appears from the outside. I've not looked in the books, but it appears from the outside that they're doing very well. They really supported this idea.
Oh yeah, I bet they had multiple salons.
They had one that I know of, but it's very impressive.
Oh really? Well, I would, generally speaking, people have more than one. Like they have two or three.
And I didn't ask at the chain massage studios in town what they felt, because I would never get to the top of that chain where we could get an answer. So I went back to the next meeting, and I said, here's the results I got. No, they do not support this massage license. Massage studio hair and nail license. And that shut that down.
There we go.
Did not pass. Didn't make it further than that. And then again, now next we go into...
I like where you're going with this. You've actually spent time watching the sausage being made. You've seen that one person can make a difference. You watched how one group, because you've caught one. How many got past you? A dozen, 2 dozen in the past years? Who knows how many have gotten past you? And before you know it, you wind up punishing small businesses everywhere. I love the fact that you've done that. So I want to go to one step further if I could.
Yeah.
I got that that's an issue for you, and that's why you're running. I love it. There's probably 1,000 little issues. Give me some other issues. Obviously, occupational licensing is one of them. Are there other issues that are kind of to the top for you now?
So my whole time on the EDC, there's been this push for what's called the Center Village Initiative. You can Google Burnsville Center Village Initiative. It's this design to try to attract retail tourism to our city to become as a source of income in industry. Okay. Retail tourism industry. I said early on, I'm not a huge fan of this idea. I don't like it. They want to entice a developer by creating a TIF zone, a tax increment finance zone, which I said that's essentially debt to the taxpayers. And you really are banking on spending on putting us into debt on the idea that in 20, 25 years that this will have a big windfall, that this will be very successful.
How did they define retail tourism? Like antiquing, like that type of retail tourism, like buying tchotchkes and such?
No, it's mixed. So they changed the zoning laws in the area to go to less restrictive, which was good initially and caught my ear. But then it's to create mixed use housing.
Okay.
And preferably, the draw looks a lot like what you've seen with these big outdoor mall areas.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Shopping centers, these huge, and you get lost within them, and they have apartments in them. We have some in some neighboring cities, and they look great. They made the cities look real pretty that they were in.
Okay.
But it's a real late model plan, and it's too late to get in that game. And it's not something you want to give away. You want to give away the land and make it into a TIF zone to enact this. If a developer wants to come through and they want to put their money down, and they want to build it, go bananas.
Absolutely.
But for us to get behind that and to finance that is a bad idea. And we've already spent so much money doing traffic studies alone, writing up these design packets to try to entice developers. And I just said, guys, pump the brakes. Retail
That's spending a lot of money for this.
And retail is dying too. Of all the things you could be planning here, this is the industry. You're trying to jump onto a sinking ship, and you're going to spend our money to do it?
Going to sink money, good money after bad.
So what are we doing? And they said, well, it's a blighted area. People want to see that area. That used to be an area of pride. That used to be an area where people would flock to. And I said, that's great to want those things, but your plan is wrong. And they wouldn't hear
But what I feel is what they're trying to do is what most local politicians are trying to do. If they put money into an area, the people who are there see money coming into the area or see it. And when the politician runs again, they can say, look at the money I put into the area, vote for me. Or look at stuff being built, even though it's not doing anything, vote for me. Or look at the things I've been doing for your town, and this evil Chris K is stopping us. So you got to vote for me, right? I mean, I feel like these are all political moves at taxpayer expense. Am I wrong with that?
No, well, I don't know if they're political moves in the sense of vote for me, re-election. Our mayor's been there for a long time, 16, 20 years. But I think it's more of a legacy imprint.
Okay. Got it.
You believe that, and I don't think it's malicious. I believe that our current mayor does feel that this is in the best interest of the city. This is what would do best for the city. I just wholeheartedly disagree with that.
So he could be wrong.
What's that?
He's just wrong.
She's just.
I'm sorry.
Well-intentioned. Yeah, well-intentioned, but just and maybe when originally this plan was born, amongst her and her colleagues, it was a good idea, but times have changed so rapidly,
right,
that this is not the solution going forward. This has no viability.
Got it. Okay. So occupational licensing, and then these economic zones, right? How do we draw economics in? Anything else? Is there a third thing that's kind of on top?
One thing that I think is practically free. It's not going to cost us any more. But I think that cities don't have firsthand influence in school districts.
Okay.
But what I don't see cities doing a lot of is taking these kids and these programs that are building these stellar kids and shouting it from the rooftops. I don't see them being great ambassadors for the school system when everyone who has a kid in middle school on up is looking at what they're able to do in their multimedia and their tech classes.
Absolutely.
Kids work so hard right now. Every kid is not every kid, but most kids are so dialed in. They're becoming specialists at such young ages.
Yep.
There's a family across the street from me who went to a robot battle, the BattleBots in Japan for the World Championships. There was not an article written. That should have been the cover of the city flyer that comes out every month, that city magazine that comes out every month. There's kids that go into there's a chess nationals team. They could be chess super nationals from Burnsville. These kids should all be bragged about. There's amazing athletes coming out of the city. I mean, those always seem to get coverage. But
it's funny you say that, right? I talk all the time about when you're an executive, right? A mayor, governor, president, whatever the case may be, any executive, county executive, right? Whatever you might be, you have the spotlight because you're the executive. And so few executives use it, to what you're saying, as a bully pulpit, right? As a way of spotlighting the good things. They tend to only spot the good things that they personally have done. It's rare to see executives spotlight what everyone else is doing. I love this idea. You can use the bully pulpit as the mayor and say, look, we've got great people in my town, in my city. I love this.
And one thing I think is, you're right. And one thing that maybe is a miss is that the communication barriers. If you go to my website, if anybody goes to my website right now, there's
by the way, that's cktoday.org.
On my website is my phone number. I believe if the CEO of Chick-fil-A can put his phone number on every door and field those calls, then I can take if you got something important, an issue you want to talk about, we can talk. You can tell me what the plan is. I can write this down and I can see where I can go with this. But I think if it's an email that has to be read by a secretary or a committee, and then they have to pass it on to you, and there's all these filters, things get missed. And, honestly, most people you talk to and say, hey, what would you like to see different in the city? They kind of feel like it's small potatoes, whatever they're concerned about. And you're like, no, just help. Every bit of it helps. It's all input that we need to take in as representatives for you, the people, so we can help make the best city possible. And there's so many ordinances from generations past where they didn't feel that was the way to do things. And if we see a restriction, you want to have chickens right now. Chickens are super popular, right? So if you go and just try to have chickens, you're going to say, well, does the city have any rules about chickens?
Right.
One right there. Why should we assume that there's rules against these fun, innovative ideas? Well, so you go downtown, you check, oh man, there's rules about having chickens. Well, that stinks. That's the end of that one. My phone number's there. Call me and say, hey, I want to have chickens. Chris, there's a rule against, I want to have 5 chickens. I have 5 family members. Chris, there's a rule that says I can only have 3 chickens. Well, okay. Let me get back to you on this one. I got you.
And now we can figure out what we should be doing about chickens. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So
tell me about your race. I mean, you're talking about you're a mayor who's been there, you said 16 years or so. So that means obviously either she's popular or no one's running against her, or both, right? So what's going on? What's your race like? 1-person race, 2-person race, 5-person race?
It's 2-person race. Actually, I'm the only person in the whole city who is running that's not an incumbent. No, the other 2 city council spots are unopposed. So the mayor's seat was unopposed. I was I have almost to a fault where I just don't take myself too seriously.
Okay.
So I was thinking, I'm not a law school graduate. I'm not a big shot anyway. I'm not a CEO of anything. right? I'm not a successful entrepreneur. So what business do I have running for mayor? Sitting on the EDC and, getting these little spots here and there to have a voice, a representative. And the mayor ran unopposed last election 4 years ago. And I went down, I was at the skate park, which is right across from City Hall, right across from City Hall. And I was at the skate park with my daughter. I'm trying to learn how to skateboard during COVID. And I just decided to skate down and go and ask who's filed for office, who's running. And I said, in my head, if nobody's running, I have to. I have to. Because competition is good for everybody.
Yep.
And
Cara was in your ear.
Yeah. And some other people were saying it too. There was just a lot of people like, hey, you got to actually do it. I'm like, okay. So I filed for office and it felt immediately like, oof, I did the right thing. This is exciting. This does feel right. This shoe fits.
So it's you versus her.
Yes.
Is she a Democrat, Republican, or is this nonpartisan?
She's a Republican.
Republican, okay.
But the tax and spend ideas, the comments about the Second Amendment before kind of make me.
Gotcha.
And as our area slid blue, I'm not. I don't want to sling mud either. I don't want to start dragging.
It's fine. It is what it is.
I'm
no worries.
Politics. I just want to.
Are you guys going to be debating? Is that a thing that you guys do?
We'll have a forum with the Chamber of Commerce. We'll put on a forum.
Okay.
So that'll be nice. It will be virtual like this.
Okay. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, Jennifer, for the nice comment, by the way.
Yes. So do you have a cool slogan like a build that wall or Medicaid for all? Do you got one of those?
No, there's been a few pitched around. I wanted to go with It's a New Day. People told me that's no good. It's a pro wrestling reference. I want to have fun with the slogan. All the ones
Hold on. Why is It's a New Day a bad slogan? I don't get it.
Ask Cara. I think she was the first one to shoot it down. She said it's okay or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so busy doing other things. So here's the deal too. With this campaign, I'm going up against money.
Yep.
I do need donations. On my site are places to donate. Money buys advertisement, which gives me publicity.
Yep. So hold on 1 second. Let me take care of this for a second, if you would. Guys, if you're in Minnesota and you're looking at a city, a town that already has libertarian representation and is about to go hard libertarian, a town that's about to be the model for other towns throughout the nation, then head over right now to cktoday.org. Click that donate button and give whatever you can give to Chris K. Get him to be the executive in this town. Get him to make impact in this town. This is a town that can actually go gold. Think about that for a second. This is a town that can go gold. Why wouldn't you want to help out if you can? You might say, Larry, I don't live in Minnesota. So what? Let this be now the model for other towns throughout the states to begin to copy. A couple people on the city council, then boom, we got a mayor. And before you know it, we got a gold town, and watch the occupational licensing go away. Watch the economic development change. Watch how things will shift, and others can then. How many times you hear, well, you libertarians don't run anything? Well, we're about to, right here. We're about to. So if you can do it, step up, give what you can give. If you can't give, no worries. As you always hear me say, and I'll keep saying it, Chris doesn't only need your money. He does need your money. He also needs your help. He needs you to do things like be social media warrior for him. He needs you to be out there waving signs. He needs you to like, share, and comment his stuff. He needs you to show up when you have events. He needs you to write press releases. He needs you for all your talents and skills. So volunteer if you can volunteer. Give if you can give. Help this man move forward. It is cktoday.org. Click on that donate button. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. And yes, I do need help. I'm going around door to door knocking. I've knocked on over 3,000 doors and left a Post-it note with all my contact information and talked to people. Overwhelmingly nice people. I mean, overwhelmingly, majority of people are so nice. There's people who are nice but shy.
Yep.
There's people who are nice but extroverted. There's one or two that you get. It's so rare. It's a fun story when you get the cranky people or the people who just want nothing to do. And you know what? I'm so sympathetic. Politicians come to my door. I'm just like, all right, what kind of generic story do you have? Yeah, old people, schools, blah, blah, blah. The one thing I want to mention while I got the libertarian audience here.
Go ahead.
Who's going to pay for the roads, right?
Yep.
Now, we're fortunate where we're at, and I'm going to give away this idea just for the greater good of society.
Give it away.
Hope somebody gets this to happen. Autonomous vehicles are coming. It is. We're already piloting trucks. One pilot running 7 trucks. Where are they testing these vehicles at? 3M, Polaris, I've heard rumors that they're trying to build this software and the hardware to accompany it, and they're going to have to build the vehicles and they have to drive them places. And yeah, they have campuses, but they don't have real city streets to test these on. Let's give them our streets. You pay for the roads, you put the hardware you need into those roads, into the lampposts, into whatever you need around there, into the infrastructure, and you pay for it. In return, we will close down our roads and let you pilot your vehicles. We'll put up Jersey barriers, bring in food and beer trucks. We'll make a huge city days event out of it, and we'll have and the roads will be paid for. Boom. There's some of the roads that are paid for. At least a huge.
I love it. I love it. You got all brand new roads that all can work well. You shut the roads down for a day or a couple hours, whatever is the rules, whatever they need. You make it an event like a street party so people can come by and watch the autonomous cars and trucks drive by and whatever. And the truck drivers will throw beer bottles at them. But whatever. So yes.
And the industry that would come with that.
Yes.
The industry of the high-paying careers that would come with that. If you could go back in time and convince Ford to build in your city.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right? The tech wave has been a slow, huge buildup, and it's still in its infancy. We need to get ahead, and I need to get into office so we can have a libertarian city that says, how do we preemptively get government out of the way?
Yep.
How do we preemptively allow these artists to grow and blossom the way they need to? I grew up in the entrepreneurial home. I see Austin, Texas is a beautiful example of what I saw growing up as a whole city. I saw it in my house, but as a whole city. They have murals to attract customers because somebody said, let's make a huge piece that's original and new. Now, if they would have had the ordinances like we had in Burnsville up until recently, we had an ordinance, no murals on buildings.
Absolutely. No, I get it. 100%.
We need to make an environment that is inviting this new gold rush.
So now we're talking about a new gold rush. Let me ask you, do you have a view? I mean, you live in a city. I live in the biggest city in the country. Any view on the protests?
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, though. You want to talk about privileges? I got the privilege of being an armchair quarterback, sitting there, Monday morning quarterback going, you should have done it this way, you should have done it this way, you should have done it this way. One thing we can take away from this is there's a whole lot of more open ears. Sorry, that just came out of garbage, but there's a lot more open ears right now, more than ever before, that were very anti-Second Amendment, that after seeing what's happened with the protection of some of these storefronts and some of these businesses, we don't have to point fingers of who's doing what. We just have to talk about the facts that some businesses were saved by armed militias.
Yep. No, I'm agreeing with you. There's a lot of bad about these protests. There's a lot of good too. We got to pull the good out of this. We got to pull the good out. You're right.
So we see it. There may be times that the capacity is maxed out, and our people who are our citizens who are ready to step up did the right thing. This is really tough, okay? Because this is a very privileged point of being able to Monday morning quarterback this. And this could have gone right or wrong, but how different would at least the image have been if when you saw those images of store owner, neighbor, other neighbor, and they're going down the line of and they're all armed in their own ways. They're standing in these storefronts protecting them. If every fourth person was a Minneapolis police officer in that line, how different would that have changed the discussion nationally?
No, it's a valid point. You're literally saying put a picture of what community policing should be.
Well, during those times of the riots, the cops protecting, everybody was saying not everybody, but a lot of people were saying, where were they? They weren't protecting these buildings as they were being burned down. And the mayor did ask them to step back.
No, what I'm saying is you're actually saying that cops plus the community. It's literally a picture of community policing, right? Police with the community protecting the community. I mean, if I read you right, that's what I saw when you gave me that picture of every fourth one being a cop. My image was that's community policing.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And that may have turned. It may have turned. Maybe it would have endangered lives of Minneapolis police officers, and the right move was to keep them out of there. I don't know, because I don't get to see that angle of how that storyline gets written out. In our Choose Your Own Adventure, we went this way. But what I'm saying is, if we would have done this, would the national discussion be different? Right? As to show that the police officers in that instance are also community members.
Right. Yes.
That's one thing when I talked about when they brought in the National Guard. I said, yeah, this is a National Guard moment. Yes, but you got to remember, when you ask to bring in the National Guard, you're bringing 19-year-olds, kids who are scared, and it's already scary enough to go to another country and have to be in a war zone. But to be in a war zone in your own neighborhood where you grew up,
absolutely,
you're asking a tall order from a kid, from a young man or young woman. But when the police didn't have a presence and they couldn't protect the buildings, and somebody had to stop something, that's who they rolled in. Right.
No, I'm with you. I am very concerned that it often looks like the police are separate from the community. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, then it looks like the cops are an occupying force versus cops being part of the community, right? I did I had an interview with a law enforcement officer in New York State, and he told me the difference between city and rural policing. And for me, it was hard. Again, I know city cops. I live in a city, and a lot of city cops don't live in a city, right? They don't live in their communities, right? That's common. But when he was telling me, in much rural areas, most of these cops, they know them. Like, they go to the diner and they eat breakfast with them or something. So the law enforcement officers outside of major cities tend to live in those towns and areas, and they know each other. Like, their kids go to high school together and such, right? So it's a different environment. And I think that's the environment that I think most people want to be policed in that way. They want to know, okay, that cop cares about my community because it's his community too.
Yeah, and that's an argument to be made for residency points too. If you live in the area, you get extra points to get on the policing job, and that helps. And there should be some kind of merit to growing up in those areas too. Sure. When I was a kid, they used to give out football cards, and so when you'd see a squad car, all the kids in the neighborhood would run them down like they're the ice cream truck.
Whoa!
And all the kids would surround him, and he'd hand out the football cards. You get Chris Carter, Anthony Carter. Your set was made, and that helped us understand that, hey, that's an approachable guy.
Right.
Now,
and he likes football like I like football.
And Burnsville is not bad at this, but there are departments around the communities around the country that really got way too much tactical gear. They got way too up armored, and they don't look as approachable.
Right.
I
get it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, with all this stuff going on, right? How in the world are we going to make impact during this year? How are you going to be able to make impact? Is it going to be doing the forums? Is it going to be are you still going to be able to knock on more doors? Is that going to be okay? Are people going to not open the door because of COVID? I mean, how are you going to make impact in your city?
I take a mask with me. I carry it in my pocket. I knock on the door. I put my Post-it note on the door. I step back as far as I can, and I speak real loudly. And people are receptive. People are receptive. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for talking to me. Some people got issues they really want to get off their chest. A lot of people who have issues they want to get off their chest are either too busy or find City Hall, the actual formality of City Council meetings, to be too intimidating to go speak their mind and sign up and speak. I've said for a long time I would like to see right away town hall style meetings come back. Okay. Give me your locally owned restaurants. I want them owned by somebody within the community. Give me your locally owned bars, coffee shops. Let's meet up. Let's have a chat. If you just want to grind in my ear for a while, that's what helps you feel better. Then
gotcha.
That's what I'm signing up for.
Okay, I like it. So let me ask you. I hope you win, obviously, and I hope people care and they head over to cktoday.org and support you to the best of their ability. The question I have is, what happens if you don't win? I mean, you are up against a monster. Do you have another, and I don't mean monsters in negative, but I mean as a giant, right? You're up against a giant.
It's a long-running incumbent.
Long-running incumbent with money. It's a tough road, right? Doesn't mean tough does not mean impossible. It means tough, right? So it's a tough road. So what happens if you don't? Do you have another way of measuring, hey, you know, I still kind of won, or no? Is it the seat or nothing?
For a personal standpoint, if I don't win, I've got a great life. I got a kid who's she's a multi-time state champ wrestler.
I like that.
She's going on the national scene. Following her dreams is great. I still can compete in jiu-jitsu. I'm reading this comment right here.
Oh, okay, yes. Frank Guido's talking about soldiers' oaths. Yes.
I like it, Frank.
Absolutely.
Foreign and domestic.
That's correct, yes. I took the same oath. Mine was a Marine, so I'm cooler than both of you, but that's okay. I'm kidding. I'm just teasing you. Just teasing.
I've got a great wife. She's built my website. If you see my website, cktoday.org, that's her amazing work. She's super fun to hang out. She started drinking bourbon recently, so that's
like that.
Another connection. And we're doing okay. And I get to go keep living my amazing life as a fireman. And there's a lot to be said when people respect your job. They respect the work you already do.
Would you consider running again, or you think that'd be the end for you?
I don't know, Larry. It's not. I don't mind the work. I actually really enjoy the work, the door knocking, the meeting people, the getting my ideas challenged, and having to reformat some things and think about things. I like all this, but it is frustrating to run and against establishments.
I know the feeling.
And when you see all the days and the weeks and the things you could have been doing in those times.
Yep.
It's hard to say I'm going to keep doing this because also why? If I'm the type of person that wants to keep doing this until I land it, am I really doing it for liberty and to make such a big impact on, say, mayor, state senate, whatever, or is it something that I need to feed my ego? And if that's the case, then I need to work on that before I do anything else.
Well, you could do both. I mean, you could do both, right? I mean, I didn't run this year. I haven't run. I've only run one time. People think I'm always running. I've only run one time. I ran one time because I thought I could make impact. Mm-hmm. But it was this. Look, anyone who runs for an executive position has to have some form of ego. Otherwise, they won't do it, right? So you've got some form of ego. Everyone who does. The question is it unhealthy or not? And is the ego superseding the principle? If that's the issue, it's the problem.
And then I think if I just immediately wanted to go back after office and I had to hold some kind of office, I think that's when I'd be like, I think my ego's a little bit much right now, and I need to. But it felt like this running for mayor. It didn't become because I wanted to be a mayor. It didn't become because I wanted to have this title or this seat or this any kind of perceived authority. This came because I saw a terrible vision towards the future in the planning and the development of the city. And I said, somebody needs to at least bring to awareness that this is coming. And we could stop it. We just need to get ahead of it. And even if I don't get elected, if that advertisement is out there, if that word goes out to the streets and they say, hey, do not waste our money on this, then I have succeeded.
So you're still winning.
If something else comes along the lines and people say, hey, you need to speak out on this. You need to go again, run for office, knock on doors, make phone calls to speak on this issue and say that's a state senate issue. Say that's a gubernatorial issue. Then okay, I'll do it, maybe. But
got it.
That would entice me to run again.
I love it. So let me ask you, Chris, before we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about?
No, just thanks for having me on our show. When I was first getting into this, I first filed for office. I first went to get the endorsement of the Libertarian Party. One of the people in the meeting said, hey, we should get Larry Sharpe to talk to him. And somebody else, I didn't even catch who it was because it was behind me, said, yeah, like Larry Sharpe's going to take the time out of his schedule to go talk to a guy running for mayor. And here we are.
And here we
So
are.
who knows what else is coming?
Larry Sharpe will absolutely do that without question. Yes, he will. So I am very happy that we're able to do that. I'm glad you came on. And brother, please, the fact that you are deciding that you may or may not run is exactly why I want you to run again. If you care enough about your ego, that means you have your ego in check enough, and that's good enough. So good luck. I hope you win this thing. If I can help, let me know. Guys, head on over to cktoday.org to help him out to the best of your ability. Let's stay in touch, my friend. I will see you soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate all of this. I will talk to you all very soon.